20 years ago, back in 2004, there was a popular game that came out that you've probably heard of. It's called World of Warcraft, and most people had the privilege of trying it out back then. But me? Oh no. I was just a wee lad at the mercy of my parents who laughed in the face of video games and monthly sub fees. But now, the tables have turned. There's no one around to stop me from frivolously throwing my money around. I have the opportunity to fulfill my childhood dream and try out World of Warcraft for the first time ever in 2024. But I'm not just going to be trying it out. No. Meet Z-Mac, a wise old wizard who, with the help of his friends, recently busted out of the nursing home to adventure in the world of Azeroth. With this character, I am going to become a master of World of Warcraft, reaching max level and learning everything there is to know about this game. So, were my parents right? Is World of Warcraft just a huge waste of time and money? Or is there more to this game than meets the eye? And do I have what it takes to reach max level and become a master of World of Warcraft? We're about to find out.
Starting off with character creation, players begin by choosing one of two factions, the Alliance or the Horde, each with unique races such as humans and dwarves for the Alliance or orcs and undead for the Horde. After reading through some of the race and class descriptions off to the side, I've decided to go with a human mage. Let's see if my name is available, and we're good to go. With my new character created, I click enter world, and the game opens up with an epic view of Stormwind City, along with a beautiful and momentous soundtrack that really draws in new players, and it gets me excited to enter the world. As the camera pans through an enchanted forest, it eventually lands on my character, where I am immediately welcomed into the World of Warcraft. And right off the bat, the game tells me that if I ever encounter something new, a help button will appear in the bottom center of my screen. Nice, I like that for new players. WASD for movement, right click to steer your character, spacebar to jump, and oh look, we got our first new player tip. I learned that quest NPCs have exclamation points hovering above their head, making sure players know it's a good idea to speak with them. As I look around, it's a warm, cozy starting area in front of an intricately designed church. Right click to interact with NPCs, and oh boy, the dialogue for quest NPCs is all text. Get your reading glasses on because there is a lot of reading to be done in Classic WoW. I speak with Deputy Willem, who tells me there's a lot of work to be done here in Northshire. He's looking for people to join the Alliance and defend their home. So my first quest objective is to speak with Marshal McBride. I enter Northshire Abbey and speak with Marshal McBride, who tells me to guard myself for a long campaign. I mean, how long can it really take, am I right? After completing my first quest, I gain 40 XP, and then I'm tasked with killing 10 kobold vermins. One thing you'll note about Classic WoW is that there are no arrows or navigational markers for the quests. You actually have to go into the quest log, read through the text, and figure out what to do. For this quest, I'm told the clan of kobolds have infested the woods to the north. So I take a look at my compass and I start heading north. As I find a clan of kobolds, a new player tip pops up at the bottom of my screen. I'm told to enter combat by right-clicking on the target and then moving into combat range. If you try to click on a target outside of your combat range, you receive a prompt that says you are too far away. I move into melee range and right-click on the target, where I get my first glimpse of combat in Classic WoW. Classic WoW is a tab target combat system. Damage dealt pops up as white numbers, damage received as yellow numbers. While in combat, I receive another new player tip, which teaches me how to use the abilities in my action bar at the bottom of the screen. My 3 abilities are Attack, Fireball, and Frost Armor. I learn how to loot by right-clicking on a creature's corpse. Once the looting menu is open, simply right-click to collect your items. Turns out those items go automatically into your backpack. In order to see your inventory, you simply open your backpack by pressing B. I then learn about equipable items. In order to equip new items, I open up my character screen by pressing C, and I drag the new piece of armor onto my character. I quickly learned that spell abilities are much more powerful than regular auto attacks. Often oftentimes dealing 2 or 3 times as much damage. After killing 10 kobold vermins, I receive another new player tip called quest completion, and I'm told that after completing quests, I can return to the character who gave me the quest to collect the reward. So I return to Marshall McBride, where I receive 25 copper and 170 XP for the quest. He then tells me before I do anything else, I should go find Keldon. In order to find the local mage trainer, I actually have to open up the glyphic letter and read it for clues as to where he might be. I like that. After reading the letter, I learn that Keldon is upstairs in the library wing of the Abbey. So after running around the Abbey and definitely not getting lost along the way, I find the library wing and speak to Keldon, the mage trainer. After handing him the glyphic letter, he tells me that he'll be happy to train me and that I should seek him out as I grow more powerful. I click on I am interested in mage training, and I learn my first new ability called Arcane Intellect. In order to learn new abilities in Classic WoW, you first have to meet the level requirement and pay the cost of the new ability. When players receive a new ability, they don't automatically go into the action bar. You actually have to open up your spellbook, click on the appropriate tab, and manually drag the ability down into your action bar. As of right now, my spellbook is compartmentalized by General, Arcane, Fire, and Frost. After speaking to the mage trainer and learning how my spellbook works, I head back downstairs to talk with Marshall McBride. He tells me that the kobold infestation is worse than we originally thought. So we head back north and start killing more mobs. As I spam my fireball ability, I receive a pop-up that says not enough mana. I quickly learn that mana is a valuable resource in Classic WoW. You can't just spam abilities willy-nilly with no consequence. Each ability that you use carries a certain amount of weight to it, which I actually appreciate. A lot of newer MMOs just require people to spam buttons. In Classic WoW, you actually have to think through the available resources and the abilities that you're using. Speaking of mana depletion, I'm taught that drinking certain items will help me regain my mana more quickly. The only catch is that you have to remain seated while drinking. You cannot be in combat, use any abilities, or move, or the process will be interrupted. After killing my 10th kobold worker, I reached level 3. Classic WoW is not one of those games that you can just speed through without thinking. You have to use the resources that are given to you wisely, namely your health and mana. I return to Marshall McBride and complete the quest. He then tells me I have to return to the mines once again. Man, this guy's really got something against these kobolds. For my next quest, I have to go kill 12 kobold laborers. I accept the quest and head back to the mines. After reaching the mines, I kill some kobold laborers, learn about freeing up bag space by selling stuff to local vendors, run out of mana once again, almost die because of it, finish killing 12 out of 12 kobold laborers, and return to Marshall McBride to complete the quest. I get to choose a piece of gear for my reward, and it appears that I can only use one out of the 3 options, so I go with the Outfitter gloves. I reach level 4, the Marshal then tells me I'm tasked with the protection of the surrounding Elwynn forests, and in order to fulfill this duty, I have to deliver some papers to Marshal Dugan in Goldshire, which is located along the southern road past the border gates. Unfortunately, I'm unable to complete the quest because my inventory is full. I head to the local vendor and sell some of my junk to Brother Daniil. Ah yes, much better. I return to Marshall McBride and now I'm able to receive the papers for Marshal Dugan. He then tells me, "You are dismissed, Z-Mac." Before I head off to Goldshire, I notice that Deputy Willem has something to say. He tells me about a couple side quests that are available. Egan Peltskinner needs someone to hunt some wolves for him, and there's a new group of thieves that call themselves the Defias Brotherhood that he wants me to take care of. I meet up with Egan Peltskinner and he tells me that he's got a craving for some wolf steaks. So I head out to bring him 8 pieces of tough wolf meat. After running out of mana once again, I decide it's probably a good idea to buy some more refreshing spring water. If there's one thing I've learned, it's important to stay hydrated while fighting enemy mobs in Classic WoW. After obtaining the 8 tough wolf meat, we return to Egan Peltskinner and receive some soft fur-lined shoes as a reward. I review the quest log for Brotherhood of Thieves, figure out which way is east, never eat soggy waffles. That way. And I died because I went AFK for a few minutes. I hover over this icon which tells me to move to the location of your corpse or speak with a spirit healer to be revived. I speak to the spirit healer who tells me it's not yet my time. She'll aid my journey back to the realm of the living for a price. I click return me to life and she tells me that if I find my corpse I can resurrect for no penalty. But if I resurrect, all of my items will take 25% durability damage both equipped and in my inventory. I decide that since it's close by and I won't receive a penalty, I'll just return to my corpse. As soon as I'm in the vicinity of my corpse, I get the option to resurrect. I hit accept, and voila, I'm alive. Back to the quest at hand, I have to kill these Defias thugs and collect 12 red bandanas for Deputy Willem. This is where I learned that not all mobs drop the required items for your quest. There is a bit of RNG. So when a quest tells you to collect 12 red burlap bandanas, that does not mean you only have to kill 12 mobs. It likely means you'll have to kill somewhere from 15 to 30 mobs in order to get the items required due to the RNG. Another thing I learned in Classic WoW is that killing mobs is actually quite dangerous due to the random mob respawns. You could be in the middle of fighting an NPC and another mob could spawn on top of you. If you're out of mana or low on health, it could easily lead to a quick death. After collecting all 12 red burlap bandanas, we head back to talk to Deputy Willem and complete the quest, and receive our first weapon upgrade, the Militia Quarterstaff. One thing that's nice is that Classic WoW actually tells you the damage per second that each weapon does. So in this case, I'll be increasing my damage by plus 1.3 damage per second. I like that feature. I complete the quest, kill a couple more wolves just for fun, reach level 5, and I'm taught how to group up with other players. I get one last good look at Northshire Abbey, and decide that it's time to take these documents to Marshal Dugan and report to Goldshire. Along the way, I take a second to speak with Falcon Eisenstrider. He then tells me to make sure I stop by and speak with his best friend Farley at the Lion's Pride Inn for some much needed R&R. As I enter Elwynn Forest, I can't help but look around and appreciate the warm, cozy starter zone vibes. The warm sun touching the tops of the trees, a soothing soundtrack playing in the background, it makes me feel at home, which I really appreciate. And oh look, we've reached Goldshire. It's a quaint village with some rustic charm. Wow, there are a lot of people running around. I find Marshal Dugan, hand him Marshal McBride's documents, and oh nice, I guess I've been awarded acting deputy status with the Stormwind Marshals. After completing the quest, Marshal Dugan tells me, "You're kidding me, there's more kobold problems?" I guess I have to explore a nearby mine to kill some more kobolds. But first, I make a stop at Lion's Pride Inn, where I receive a tip about resting. Apparently, there is a resting bonus in Classic WoW that gives players a temporary bonus to experience from killing monsters. Oh, and it recommends I grab a Hearthstone from the innkeeper. I speak with innkeeper Farley, complete the rest and relaxation quest, ask him what can I do at an inn, and then click make this inn your home. And I'm taught how to use my Hearthstone, a magical item that allows players to teleport back to their designated home location, which can be changed by speaking to the various innkeepers. Unfortunately, it's a 1-hour cooldown, which is kind of obnoxious, but hey, at least it's better than nothing. Alright, time to find the Fargo Deep Mine. Quest log says the mine is due south of Goldshire. I run into Remy 2 times, who I guess gets his name from spontaneously repeating himself when speaking. And would you look at that, he also needs me to visit the Fargo Deep Mines. I tell him that I'm already headed that way and that he can count on me. After accepting the quest, I venture south to find the Fargo Deep Mine. After reaching the mine, I overestimate my character's strength and I die. Turns out you shouldn't be fighting mobs that are 2 levels higher than you because it doesn't turn out too well. Alright, I make my way back to the mine for round 2. I start trying to kill some of the kobolds, survive one of the fights with 3 health, collect some gold dust, make sure I stay nice and hydrated, and I finally get 10 out of 10 gold dust. I don't know if it was me just getting unlucky or the quest was designed that way, but I had to kill around 50 kobolds just to get those 10 gold dust items. I return to Remy 2 times, hand him the gold dust, and in good old Remy 2 times fashion, he hands me the cash and says, "You might find it useful." I complete the quest, reach level 6, and return to Marshal Dugan with the scouting report, and he says this is bad news. I'm not sure how little rat creatures compared to dragons, but he wants to increase the patrols near the mine, and he tells me he might have another task for me. Alright, I've been exploring mines, killing kobolds. Give me something juicy like a troll or... oh, it wants me to explore another mine to confirm any kobold presence. Yay! I head east along the road, run away from this level 8 wolf, kill an unsuspecting cow, find the Tower of Azora, head north and discover the Jasper Lode mine, kill some more kobolds, ask this guy where he got his gun from, successfully scout through the Jasper Lode mine, and I'm starting to get a real sense of deja vu. As I explore deeper into the mine, I come across some spiders that have actually been hunting down some of the kobold workers. I tell them I'm kind of tired of killing all these kobolds and ask them if they want to team up, but they don't seem interested. When returning to Marshal Dugan, I'm able to loot something called the Scroll of Spirit, which increases a target's spirit by 3 for 30 minutes. And I have my first encounter with something called a Murloc. I quickly learn that everything in Classic WoW wants to kill you. Anytime I run by an enemy mob, I feel like my life is in danger. I learn about damaged items and gear durability. I guess I need to find a merchant in town to repair the item before it breaks. I return to Marshal Dugan to complete the quest, and here we go. We've got some gnoll and thief activity going on. Now we're talking. He tasks me with the defense of the Westbrook Garrison and tells me to go speak with Deputy Raynor. I find Deputy Raynor at the Westbrook Garrison and complete the quest. He tells me that a group of gnolls have infested the borders of Elwynn Forest and that I need to take them out. As proof of my deed, I have to bring 8 painted gnoll armbands back to Deputy Raynor once the quest objectives are complete. There's just one tiny problem. These gnolls are level 10 and I'm only level 6. As much as I'd love to be the next meal for one of those gnolls, I decide to head back towards the mines to see if there's some other side quest options closer to my current level. And oh nice, I stumbled upon a small humble farm where I find a couple of quest NPCs. I speak to Ma Stonefield and I gotta admit, I love this little side quest story. Basically the Brackwells have a prize-winning pig named Princess, but Ma Stonefield says the only reason she's gotten so big is by sneaking over and eating her veggies. Therefore, Princess must die. I never thought I'd be asked to assassinate a pig in an MMORPG, but here we are. And of course, I can't tell Ma no, so I agree to kill Princess, grab her collar, and bring it back to Ma as proof of her death. Oh, and I also agree to help Auntie Bernice find her lost necklace. I head over to the McClure Vineyards, speak with Billy McClure, who denies taking the necklace, but he says he knows who took the necklace and he'll tell me. For a price. He's really craving one of Auntie Bernice's pork belly pies, so I agreed to bring her some ingredients so she can make one for him. I kill some boars, collect the chunks of boar meat, reach level 7, learn how to add people to my friends list, and ooh, what's this? Professions? Each character can learn up to 2 professions which will allow you to find or create items of value. I'm kind of a sucker for trade skills and crafting, so I definitely want to look more into that. I return to Auntie Bernice. She agrees to make the pie for me, so I hand her the chunks of boar meat. After she makes the pie, she says, she says, here you go. And when you give this pie to that Billy, you tell him I hope he chokes on it. Oh my gosh. That's actually hilarious. I think these little side quests are my favorite part of the game so far. I return to Billy McClure, hand him the pork belly pie, and he says, I think my memory is coming back to me. And oh, would you look at that? It actually was Billy the whole time, but he suckered Auntie Bernice into making him a pie. Smart kid. So after dropping the necklace near the Fargo Deep mine, he says a big gold-toothed kobold picked it up. So guess where we're headed? Back to the mine. I return to the mine, and I guess I'm looking for a kobold named Goldtooth. And gosh dang it, I died again. I got gangbanged by a bunch of kobolds. I'm such a noob. Alright, round 2. Enemy mob just keeps spawning on top of me, so it's hard to make progress. I find Goldtooth, someone else is already killing him. So I jump on top of this machine to wait for him to respawn. Start hurling fireballs at him. He tries to run away, but I take him out. And would you look at that, I find Bernice's necklace. After successfully acquiring the necklace, I find my way out of the cave and return to Auntie Bernice. And she rewards me with some gloves that I can't use, but also 875 XP. So I guess it wasn't a complete waste. So after helping out at Stonefield Farm, I make my way over to the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch, which I'm told is to the east and past the McClure Farm. It's time to kill Princess. I run east for quite a long distance, start to wonder if I'm lost, but eventually I run into the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch. Of course, this young forest bear starts attacking me, and I have to run away, barely surviving with 8 health. Seriously, everything in Classic WoW wants to kill you. I find Princess, but dang, she's level 9 and protected by 2 little pig bodyguards. Just when I'm about to lose hope, I get invited to a group. Havix asks me if I want to complete the quest Princess. My first ever group quest in Classic WoW. And we did it. Wow, Classic WoW is a lot more fun with friends. I tell them thank you, we get the brass collar, and just like that, my friends are gone. It was fun while it lasted though. Instead of running all the way back, I decide to use my Hearthstone for the first time to return to Goldshire. I'm running a little low on food, so I decide to buy some more, pick up another side quest, return to Remy 2 times, who tells me there's a Murloc problem in Elwynn Forest. But first, I want to return to Ma Stonefield and let her know that I successfully killed Princess. I speak with Ma, show her the brass collar, and she rewards me with some upgraded farmer boots, as well as 775 XP. Nice.
After murdering Princess from Stonefield so that she can win that blue ribbon at the next town fair, I think it's time I found the local mage trainer to acquire some more abilities. I honestly totally forgot about this until one of the viewers pointed it out, so shout out to that guy. The problem is, I have no idea where the trainer is, so I head back towards Goldshire to ask for directions. I wanted to point out that I've been sick for the past couple of days and lost my voice, so that's why I sound like this, so I do apologize. But anyways, I stop at the town square to ask for directions. Does anyone know where I can find the local mage trainer? But no one responds. As I look at my chat box, I notice that my text appears as ZMAX says, whereas everyone else has General Elwynn Forest in front of it. After messing around for a bit, I figure out that you can enter the general chat for the region by typing /1, which will allow you to reach a much wider audience. So I ask my question again, and oh nice, this time I got a couple responses. I tell them thank you and make my way to the Goldshire Inn. I head upstairs to the second floor, and would you look at that, I find the mage trainer. I acquire both conjure water and conjure food, assuming that will save me and possibly some allies some time and money in the long run, since I won't have to be buying food and drink items. Acquire a new ability called Fire Blast, upgrade my Fireball to rank 2, and train my first offensive Frost ability. Not only does it do damage, but it also slows enemy movement speed by 40% for 5 seconds. I make sure I add these new abilities to my action bar and give my trainer a bow as a sign of respect. I have to point out, I love how the game recognizes when you emote in front of an NPC and narrates the interaction in the chat box. That's pretty cool. It's small details like these that start to add up and really make video games feel immersive and special for players. With my newly decked out action bar, I take a look at my quest log, and even though slaughtering kobolds isn't my favorite thing in the world, I decide to head back to the mine to complete the Kobold Candles quest. I take down a couple spiders on the way, realize that I forgot to sell some of my items back in town, hunt down some kobolds, collect all of the large candles, return to William Pestle to complete the quest, and I reach level 8. I do think it's kind of funny that Classic WoW waits until level 8 to formally teach players about jumping. I mean, I think most people would have figured that out by now, if not just for accidentally hitting the spacebar at some point while playing. I pick up another quest from William called Shipment to Stormwind. This random guy comes up to me and trades me a small blue pouch. I was just thinking about how tedious it is to have so little inventory space. I'll have to look into how to acquire some more of these pouches in the near future. Now, I really want to pick back up with the quest I got earlier from Remy 2 times involving the concerning rumors about Murlocs in Elwynn Forest. I take a quick look at my quest log, head east down the main road, revisit my unsuspecting cow friend, find the Eastern Elwynn Bridge, speak with Guard Thomas, and he tells me that the rumors are true. The Murlocs have indeed settled in and around the streams of Eastern Elwynn. He then asks me if I'd be willing to search for a couple of his buddies that went missing a few days ago somewhere along the river. When I ask him if he wants to tag along, he tells me he would, but he had one of Aunt Bernice's pork belly pies for dinner and his stomach's not feeling so good. I guess that's fair. Oh, and he also asks me to hunt down some wild animals while I'm at it. I make my way north up the river, investigate a half-eaten body, identify the remains as Footman Malachi Stone, receive a clue to the whereabouts of the second missing guard, head east towards the nearby Murloc village, and let's give it the old is it better than New World test. Oh wow, even 20 years ago, World of Warcraft was more technologically advanced than New World at initial launch. I learn about the breath bar that pops up when your character becomes submerged in water, swim down this waterfall just for fun, discover the Murloc village, and wow, someone has been on a Murloc killing rampage. And what even are these things? Some sort of creepy human fish hybrids? It sort of reminds me of Fizz from League of Legends, except not nearly as cute. And oh nice, I looted a small red pouch from one of the Murlocs I killed. Get an upgrade for my cloak, investigate Rolf's corpse. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I really like this fireball into fire blast combo. I legitimately have to eat or drink between every single fight. Hunt down 5 young forest bears, finish killing 8 out of 8 prowlers, really take in this beautiful view of Elwynn Forest, return to Guard Thomas to deliver the bad news, and he responds by telling me I have confirmed his fears. The Murlocs are a threat we cannot ignore. He then asks me to report to Marshal Dugan to see if he can't send some more troops to deal with this Murloc problem. Oh, and I also turn in the quest for killing the wolves and bears. After taking a look at my map, I decide to save myself some time and Hearthstone back to Goldshire. Check in with the Mage trainer to see if there's
there's any more abilities I can train, upgrade my Frostbolt to rank 2, and what is this ability? Polymorph? Transfers the enemy into a sheep, forcing it to wander around for up to 20 seconds. Now this I've gotta try out. Return to Marshal Dugan, and he's a bit troubled over the news about the Murlocs. And I reach level 9. To reward me for all of my hard work, he tells me to bring a marker to Sarah Timberland in the Eastvale logging camp so that she can fashion a special piece of armor just for me. On my way to the Eastvale logging camp, I noticed that Guard Thomas has another quest for me. The Stormwind army has placed a bounty on the Murlocs, which I will happily accept. I find Sarah Timberland, receive an upgraded robe, and ooh, it looks like the Defias gang has expanded their borders to the Elwynn forest. Since I'm not exactly sure where to find the Defias gang, I decided to focus on the bounty for the Murlocs. I learned that I have to be a little more strategic with attacking some of these Murlocs. If you accidentally aggro a few of these guys, they'll take you out real quick. I can't tell you how many times I had to run away or survive some of these fights with next to 0 health. I managed to snag the 8 torn Murloc fins for the bounty quest, find a withered staff weapon upgrade. With the Murloc bounty complete, I want to see if I can find some of these Defias gang members. During my search, I come across these 4 random graves, so of course I stop to pay my respects. And aha, I find a group of the Defias gang members. I take down some Defias bandits, I politely ask Deadtooth Jack to take a chill pill, and oh, what's this? Westfall Deed. This item begins a quest, requires level 8. That's pretty cool. So I got a random quest tasking me with the delivery of a stolen deed to Farmer Furlbro. I'm not sure where Westfall is, but I'll accept it for now and figure it out later. I'm starting to wonder if this quest was worth it. I've killed around 20 gang members and only have 3 bandanas to show for it. Oh gosh, I think I'm dead. They spawned right on top of me, and there's a wolf. Oh, I'm dead. As I mentioned before, you have to be very careful in Classic WoW because at any point, enemy mobs can randomly spawn right on top of you. How ironic. Little did I know I was actually paying respects at my own grave. If that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is. The moment I resurrect, this wolf starts attacking me. Chill, please. Oh my gosh. No way. Am I gonna die again? Oh my gosh. This game is so stressful. So I learned you can actually eat and drink at the same time. Wish I had known that sooner, but it's better late than never. Alright, at this point, I'm just completing this quest out of sheer stubbornness. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I refuse to give up in just about everything I do. Give me a freaking bandana. Did I mention how much I hate this quest? Oh my gosh. Where is this wolf even coming from? You're kidding me. You're kidding me. No way. Oh my gosh. Finally, 5 out of 6. No way. These people just come out of nowhere. I don't want to resurrect her here because this wolf's gonna kill me. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how relieved I am to get this last bandana. I return to Sarah and tell her, screw you, I'm never doing a quest for you again. She responds, life's tough, quit being a baby. So I take my red linen sash, go cry in a corner. After dying 1,000 times and being permanently scarred by that group of Defias bandits, I make a vow to never let that happen again. The arch nemesis arc has been born. I will grow stronger, and when the time is right, I'll take my revenge and unleash my wrath upon the Defias gang, wiping them out once and for all. But for now, let's continue on our journey. Real quick, I had a couple people point out that I hadn't been utilizing my frost armor and arcane intellect during those recent fights. I totally forgot about those abilities since I had them in my secondary action bar, and that was probably a big reason as to why I was dying so much. I guess you live and you learn. To help with that, I received another tip that I can actually create a secondary action bar that sits on top of the primary one, which is actually super helpful. Now that they're front and center, I won't be forgetting to use them going forward. So thank you guys for helping me out. After returning to Guard Thomas to turn in the bounty quest, he rewards me with more stuff that I can't use. That's kind of a bummer. I'd really like to get my hands on some better mage gear. But would you look at that, I reached level 10. Nice. The moment that I level up, I receive a new player tip about learning talents. In Classic WoW, talents allow players to customize their characters by investing points into 3 class-specific talent trees, shaping abilities and playstyles for roles like PvE or PvP. Starting at level 10, players earn points to unlock or enhance skills, opening up the door for a variety of different builds, even within your dedicated class. After reading over some of the options, I clicked on Arcane Subtlety, but didn't realize it immediately locks in your choice. I would have preferred to put the talent point into the fire tree since that's where most of my damage is coming from at the moment, but Oh well. If you guys have any suggestions for which talent tree I should focus on, I really have no idea what I'm doing, so be sure to let me know in the comments. I then learned about the looking for group interface, which allows players to more conveniently group up with other players for things like dungeons and more challenging quests. With all of that out of the way, Guard Thomas tells me now that I have some combat experience under my belt, I should report to Green Stoutmantle in Westfall. This is the second time I've been directed to travel to Westfall, and it's piqued my curiosity. So I open up my map and oh nice, it looks like it's one of the adjacent regions. I'll probably be making my way there soon, so I accept the quest. But first, I have some unfinished business with some gnolls and thieves at the Westbrook Garrison. So I Hearthstone back to Goldshire, pay a visit to my Mage trainer, upgrade my Conjure Water to rank 2, as well as my Frost armor, and ooh, I learned an ability called Frost Nova. This spell looks legit. So it deals AoE damage to all enemies near the caster and freezes them in place for up to 8 seconds. That seems really strong, and I am very happy to add that to my toolbox of abilities. After that, Zaldemar suggests that I find someone named Janaea in the Mage district of Stormwind for a task that needs doing. He won't tell me what it is, but he says that it's important. Ooh, so mysterious. I will definitely get to that later, but right now, I've got some gnolls to kill. And I'm actually really excited that my Conjured Water is now upgraded from 151 mana over 18 seconds to 436 mana over 21 seconds. That's almost 3 times the recovery speed, which will definitely save me a lot of time going forward. I head back towards the Westbrook Garrison, and oh yeah, now we're talking. I'm starting to feel a lot more confident with my spells and abilities. Along with that, I've got a good amount of damage as well as crowd control to better kite enemy mobs. At one point, I'm actually able to successfully take on 2 gnolls at once, which might not sound like much for a lot of you, but that's a step up for me. I'm too powerful. Die, gnoll scum. I receive a nice little upgrade to my feet armor, find another scroll of spirit, watch some of these gnolls run in fear, receive a wrist armor upgrade, collect all 8 of the painted gnoll armbands, return to Deputy Rainer at the Westbrook Garrison, and nice, I got a pretty big leg armor upgrade. I'm not gonna lie, completing that quest felt very rewarding. To go from a point where I was basically mincemeat for those gnolls, having no chance of completing it, to being able to not only finish the quest, but absolutely crush it, even taking on 2 gnolls at once, man, that feels really good. And I have to give Classic WoW some credit when it comes to the leveling progression. They've done a phenomenal job with it, and it's not difficult to understand why so many players fell in love with this game. I then receive a pop-up about reputation with different people groups in the world, so I take a look at that, but as of right now, I don't know what the significance of this really is. And since I'm already here, I decide to explore the Westbrook Garrison a bit. Why is there a random basement that's just completely empty? What kind of stuff are you guys doing down here? I take in the surrounding view from the top of the garrison, wonder why this stairway suddenly stops and leads to nowhere, and that's about it. Unless I'm missing something, it doesn't seem like there are any quests to pick up or any real purpose for the garrison other than it's just a part of the Azeroth world, which I actually really appreciate. It's nice when there are things in video games that exist just because they exist. It really helps strengthen a player's sense of immersion within the world. Alright, what do we have here? Wanted. Who is Hogger? So I came across this wanted poster for what appears to be the head honcho gnoll in Elwynn Forest. His name is Hogger. My task is to take him down and return with his huge gnoll claw as proof of the kill. Sounds simple enough, but as soon as I hit accept, I receive a pop-up that informs me this is an elite quest and that they are best undertaken in a group. Ooh, my first encounter with elite creatures in Classic WoW. These mobs are identified by a golden dragon border around their portraits. I mean, if it's just one gnoll, how hard could it really be? Okay, I guess it's gonna be a little tougher than I initially thought. Thankfully, when I returned to the area, there were a bunch of people that had showed up to take down the beast. So I grouped up with an ally, and after that, it was actually quite easy. After killing Hogger, I wanted to start limit testing a bit. So I took on 3 enemies at once, and I ended up running away for my life. But hey, it was actually somewhat close. If I had a bit more mana, I think I could have pulled it off. Anyways, I head back towards the Westbrook Garrison to turn in the quest, get distracted and explore this nearby defense tower, return to the wanted poster and get super confused as to why I can't turn in the quest, check the log real quick and oh, I have to turn in the claw to Marshal Dugan. So I Hearthstone back to Goldshire, show Marshal Dugan the trophy, and he tells me he's quite impressed. As a reward, he offers me a balanced fighting stick, which despite a lackluster name is actually a pretty big weapon upgrade, allowing me to triple my melee attack damage. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I picked up another one of those random quest scrolls, something about a gold collector in Elwynn Forest, and it just so happens to task me with speaking to Marshal Dugan. How convenient. After bringing it up to him, he says, yeah, I've heard of that guy. He's the one that's been stealing all of our gold from the mines. He then instructs me to find this mysterious collector at the Brackwell pumpkin patch. I tell him I'm always down for a good old manhunt, and I make my way towards the farm. As soon as I arrive, someone actually asks if I could help them out with killing Princess, and since someone had so graciously helped me out when I needed it, I tell them to get lost. No, of course, I'm happy to help them out. After running around for a bit and exacting my revenge on some of these Defias bandits, I find the collector inside this small cottage. The problem is that he's joined by a couple other named gang members. Just as I was sizing them up and about to say, F it, let's just do this, I promise you I'm not making this up. Another random person approaches me and asks if I need help. I guess she saw me just standing there staring blankly at the cottage, so we join forces and make light of the 3 gang members. That's actually crazy. The WoW community is awesome. I don't remember the last time I've had random players approach me and out of the blue just ask if I need help. Seriously, I absolutely love that. I make my way back to Marshal Dugan and he tells me that this ring once belonged to the old Stonemasons Guild in Stormwind, and he wonders why a lowly Defias thief would have such a ring. I really hope we get an answer to that question at some point in our journey, because that would be some pretty legit storytelling. I then talk to this nearby blacksmith and he gives me yet another reason to visit the city of Stormwind. I think the devs purposely placed a bunch of these delivery quests in the game to really encourage new players to go check it out. Alright, I surrender. Let's go visit Stormwind City. As I approach the gates of Stormwind, I can't help but be taken aback by the grandeur of this city. The iconic white stone walls adorned with blue and gold banners, the epic stone statues of ancient heroes, the beautiful soundtrack that welcomes players into the fortress, and to my surprise, the city is actually quite large in size. For a game that came out 20 years ago, I'm impressed. As I open my map, I notice that there's a bunch of different districts within the city, and it's probably going to take me a minute to familiarize myself with all of it. From what I can tell, the only way to figure out which building is what is by hovering over these big wooden signs hanging above their doors. Thankfully, the quest NPCs that I'm looking for do show up as small yellow dots on the minimap. Aw, look at this group of children going on a walk with their school teacher. So I turn to the first delivery quest, reach level 11, discover Classic WoW's bank system, which I'm very happy to utilize, head over to the Mage's Quarter, run up this cool spiraling ramp, and whoa, at first I thought this was a dead end, but it's actually a little portal to this secret library, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way. Anyways, I find Janaea and she tells me something about massive mystic struggles and magic currents being torn away from once stable channels, a bunch of stuff that honestly just goes right over my head. Thankfully, she says she'll explain everything more in depth later, but for now, she tasks me with obtaining a Mirror Lake water sample so that she can test it for magical taints, whatever that means. Even though I have no clue what she's talking about, since this is directly connected to my chosen class, I feel like this could be the start of an interesting questline. I then speak with the portal trainer and get super excited about the idea that I can learn teleportation spells to help me traverse the world a little more quickly. Unfortunately, I won't unlock this ability until I reach level 20. Oh, cool. I didn't realize there was fishing in Classic WoW. And last but not least, I head over to the Dwarven District, meet up with Grim and Elmore to complete the quest, and he tells me about a distant land named Loch Madan. His request is that I would deliver one of the weapons he crafted to one of the dwarves living there, named Gringer Stormpipe. Sounds kind of interesting. I don't think I want to do that right now, but I'll definitely have to store that in the back of my mind for later. I then notice a dwarven weapon crafter, so I decide to see if there's anything he could craft for me, but he says, "What are you, daft? That's not a weapon, that's a dinner knife. I don't train amateurs." Okay, first off, it's a fighting stick, not a dinner knife. And second, do you not know who I am? I took down Princess. I hunted down frickin' Hogger. I'm a big deal, man. After that encounter, I realize I've been on the road adventuring for quite a while. I think it's about time I find a spot to relax and unwind. So I ask the locals if there's anything nearby, head to the local pub, buy myself a glass of ice cold milk. Oh wait, you thought I was talking about that type of drink? Come on guys, I can't be drinking that crap at my age. My liver's on its last leg. Sit down by this legendary bear rug and don't worry, I'm just gonna close my eyes for a little bit.